Welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Always great to see you. You've made it for Live Rich, the Capstone Wealth Experience, brought to you by Roxanne Theodoropoulos with Capstone Wealth. My name's Sari, and as always, it's also good to see you, Roxanne. How you doing?
Great. Enjoying the summer weather.
You look adorable today, I have to say. I know that that's not your best attribute, but you're all logoed out in the capstone well and the earrings. Show people the earrings. It's the logo. Yes, I love it. Looking good. Did you have those specially made?
Yes, my father-in-law made them.
Oh, that's so sweet. So we can't all just go to the store and pick up a pair of
No,
those earrings.
absolutely not. We're trying to mass produce them, but for some reason, he doesn't understand what that means. He's trying to make everybody a pair of gold earrings. I'm like, nope, not going to happen.
I mean, it's a nice thought, right? We
Hmm.
we love your father-in-law. So good to see you, looking good today. And you and I were just talking a moment ago about Roth conversions and just talking about like kind of what a buzzword that's become recently. And we did a little digging because that's what we're going to talk about today. Are you too old? Is this the right time? When is a good time to get some money in Roth accounts? And I asked you, how long have Roth accounts even been an option? Is this something new? And that's why we're starting to hear so much about it.
Hmm. And really, Roths have been available, but they didn't start really introducing them into 401ks until like 2006, 2010. And a lot of times to do a Roth conversion, your income had to be under 100,000, right? So most folks were over that 100,000, couldn't do Roth conversions. In 2010, they also changed that rule. So now you can do Roth conversions if you're over $100,000. And so that has kind of opened the door for people to take advantage of this. But what I usually hear is, well, I'm just too old. It doesn't make sense. How long is it going to take statistically for me to recuperate the cost that I paid of the taxes, right? And it's like, okay, well, when are you going to die? What are taxes going to be when you die? And who's going to get the money, right?
All very easy questions to answer,
Yeah.
Roxanne. We all
Just
know exactly when and where. I mean, just trying to figure out where tax rates are going to be is like you need a crystal ball for that.
Yeah, and I always tell people it has nothing to do with age, right? So, like I just said, it really comes down to who your beneficiaries are. Well, first things first, do you even care who pays the taxes, right? Because you either care or you don't. A lot of people say, hey, if the IRS ends up getting 50% of my IRA at death, so be it. I'm done. I'm dead. I don't care, right? Other people are willing to do whatever it takes to make sure the IRS is out of their bucket and does not have access to one single penny extra. So, number one is, do you care or not? Number two is, if you do care, then we have to start looking at who your beneficiaries are. So, and this is a bad example that I give, but, do you have 500,000 and 10 deadbeat kids? Right?
It's a
Is
possibility. Somebody, I'm sure, says yes to that.
So maybe they're going to pay zero tax bracket, if they inherit this money. So is a Roth conversion, are you too old for a Roth conversion? No, but do you want to do one? Probably not. But now let's take that. Let's just say you're 78 and you have $2 million dollars in an IRA and your kid lives in New York. I have a case right now that I'm working with. A kid lives in New York and just starting out. And by the time you pass away, even if you're 78, he's going to inherit that IRA. Let's just say it never even grows. It's $2 million. dollars. Well, because of the Secure Act, as soon as that kid inherits that money, you're going to have to take that money, divide it by 10 years because it has to be paid out to him. And that is going to hit him at probably his highest earning income years. And he's in New York. So, what do you think the taxes are if you're in the highest tax bracket in New York?
Higher than they are in Florida.
Mm-hmm. And so, this is a specific client of mine. She's in Orlando. And, I've been calculating calculating out the taxes and looking at IRMA, Medicare Part B premium, because yes, she is going to have to pay higher Medicare. Doing the math on that, how much is it going to be? $200 extra, $300 extra each month for her? She
So
doesn't
you
like that.
mean so you mean if she chooses to do the Roth conversions at this time, because she will have to count that as income to pay taxes on, these other things are also going up.
Correct. And it does not feel good. And she does not like it. You know, let's just say your social security check is $2,000 and your Medicare is going from $200 to $600. All of a sudden, you're used to getting 1,800 and now you're going to get 1,400, right? That feels like a big hit in the stomach. And so, but what we have to understand is that if we don't do this and the kid does inherit the $2 million dollars and it is paid out within 10 years, that kid more than likely is going to have to pay 50% of that in taxes. And that's even with the tax rates being what they are today, which we know they're the lowest that they've been historically, right? We know that we have trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. Wow. So are taxes going to go up? I don't know. Most people say yes. What's going to happen? Who knows? But what do we know? We know right now that she has some wiggle room within the 24 or the 32% tax bracket. And I know that 24 and 32 is less than 50.
Good
Even
math.
if even if I take into consideration the, extra 400 bucks on Medicare Part B. But, with the Medicare Part B and the IRMA, you're only impacted for 1 year, right? So if you do the Roth conversion in 2026, it takes 2 years for that to impact your IRMA. So you won't immediately see the hit on your Social Security. You have a little bit of time. So, what I really wanted today to be about is that it's never about your age, right? Am I too old? No. Does it make sense? Well, now we have a conversation to go around.
What are other questions a lot of times that your clients ask specifically about Roths besides just the age consideration that you have to answer on a regular basis?
hmm what if it's all going to charity, Roxanne? Right?
Okay.
Should I do a Roth conversion or not? And that one's difficult because we know that we can do QCDs to charities and that give money to charities and it'd be tax free. We just have to be old enough. And also, when are you going to die and how much do you ultimately want to go to charities? And is it important for you, right? Because it's like you worked your entire life to have this nest egg. How do you want to utilize it? So, do you want to rip off some of the taxes now, like a band aid, and get to enjoy tax free money in your lifetime? Right? Because what happens? We all sit around and talk about, oh, the taxes are going up. Oh my goodness, look what I'm paying. Oh, I can't believe that. And for some people, it really can make them upset, not enjoy life, you know? And if you work so hard your entire life to just be able to afford to rip that tax off like a band aid and just get it out of the way, well, then let's sit down and plan how much of this bucket you want for yourself to be able to enjoy tax free for the rest of your life. Once we come up with that number, we can't come up with any other ideas as how we would utilize any of the rest of the money except for charity. Then that's the amount that we leave behind so that it's there to go completely tax free at our death. So that's typically, one of the questions that I get is if it's going to go all to charity, should I even worry about that now?
And is there ever a time that it's a good idea to just do it all at once, a big conversion versus having a plan and doing it over several years or multiple years?
Yeah, I've done the math a million times. There's not a reason to get it done all at once because you're paying taxes at the highest rate. You're going to impact everything across the board. Whereas if we have room within the 22, 24, 32% tax bracket, why do that to yourself, right? But I've definitely had people do it because guess what? I've done the math and I can look them in the face and say, based on today's numbers, This is going to cost you an extra $120,000 by ripping off the Band-Aid and paying taxes on everything today. Is your peace of mind to not have the government's hand in your nest egg worth $120,000 of peace of mind? And if the answer is yes, and I don't care, and I can afford to spend $120,000, then the answer is yes, do it. But math-wise, does it make sense? No. We want to plan and map out little chunks at a time.
And then on the other side of that, though, they spend, let's say, the $120,000 now. Whatever potentially grows, if the market grows with that money in it, in the Roths, they're not paying any tax on what's earned on that money in the future either, are they?
Correct. The fruits from your apple tree forever and ever and ever will be tax-free. And then I get my conspiracy theorists that say, well, until the government changes that.
My husband has asked me that before because I was talking to Roxanne about this. There were a few years back where my husband and I were in a different financial situation. He had started a business and I was the only one working. And it's before I was in this space, before I had had conversations with Roxanne from Capstone Wealth. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, that would have been a year to do a Roth conversion, And now I'm asking my husband about it moving into the future. And he's like, well, yeah, for now it's great. But what if the government decides to tax that money later? I'm like, but we don't have any control. We can't make decisions based on what ifs.
Exactly. No, that's when I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We just plan with what we have in front of us.
We can talk about math. We're not talking about conspiracy theories here when you're setting up an appointment. So if you've heard something today that's interesting to you, or maybe something that you would just like to get more information about, that's why Roxanne is here and doing this podcast to be able to educate you. So if you'd like more education, just going to throw out the phone number. It's 352-850-7392. 352-850-7392. And the website is mycapstonewealth.com. You want to tell everybody what the next podcast is going to be about, Roxanne?
Distribution strategy. Show me the money.
You make that sound so sexy.
Oh.
So we will see you next time. Live rich, the Capstone experience, because dying rich was never the goal.
That's right.
Capstone Wealth LLC is a registered investment advisor in the state of Florida. Advisory services may only be offered to clients or prospective clients where Capstone Wealth and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment, legal, or tax advice. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Listeners should consult with a qualified financial advisor and/or tax professional before implementing any strategies discussed. No guarantees are made regarding the outcomes of any strategies or investments mentioned.